Okay, Bruce. Time to go to work. Okay. So I want to talk about the Golden Globes. I didn't watch the Golden Globes last night, but my social media, Twitter, Facebook, there was a lot of jibba-jab about Meryl Streep's brave speech. She was so brave, getting up there, and so I had to, I had to read it. I read the transcript of her entire speech. She was honored last night because of a lifetime achievement or whatever. These are, I still don't understand what the Golden Globes are. They're like, I guess they're like the semi-finals of the Oscars or something. I don't know. Anyway, I don't watch award shows. I don't hold Hollywood in as high esteem as Hollywood holds itself. They're actors. They act. They pretend for a living. But Meryl Streep got up there and started talking about, it's ridiculous, how Hollywood has never been more vilified than right now. And then she started, talking about how her heart was broken, and she cried these crocodile tears and made this bloviating speech about Trump's mocking of a disabled reporter, which isn't true. He didn't mock a disabled reporter, but the media saw it in there because of some hand gestures he made, and so they made it out like he mocked a disabled reporter. Even though he uses those hand gestures all the time when he's mocking anybody. Whenever somebody, has to step back what they've said because they've misquoted him or misrepresented what he said, he's made similar hand gestures. The fact that one of those people was a disabled reporter, the journalists, the news media, I don't really like calling them journalists, the news media, they ran with it. They said, oh, this'll sink his campaign for sure. But it was so saddening to see Streep do this, because I'll be honest, I like Meryl Streep's movies. I don't agree with Trump when he says that she's an overrated actress. She's not. She's a good actress. But let's keep in context here. That's all she is. She's an actress. Everybody loves movies. Everybody loves being, taken away into a new story. But they're just actors. They're pretending. They're being paid gobs of money to pretend. And what did she say? She was talking about how, Hollywood's full of diversity. It's full of people, from everywhere. There's so-and-so from Sri Lanka, and so-and-so's from Kentucky, and so-and-so's from, New Jersey, and they played so-and-so from here, and they played a disabled boy in, Guatemala, all this sort of crap, this moralizing, this virtue signaling about how, actors are actually really good people because, they tell the stories of the marginalized, and they tell the stories of the people who suffered injustices. That's great. Good job. You're also paid millions of dollars to do it. Okay, it's not like you're doing it out of the kindness of your heart. It makes you feel good because, you get to feel all superior to people because you traveled to Guatemala to shoot a movie, and you saw the despicable poverty and terrible conditions that people live in, and then you went back to your air-conditioned hotel room and had a $18 bottle of water and went over your lines. But I think the problem with Hollywood is they don't see it. They didn't see it in the lead up to the election when they were, stumping for Hillary, when they were, Robert Downey Jr., all the Avengers, they all came up with this, this PSA, which when you first looked at it, it was a PSA about, getting out and voting. Great, good message, encourage people to engage in the electoral process. Perfect. And then, you know, the line "Save the Day" came up, and when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, save the day. Yeah, remember, it's November 8th. Don't forget, November 8th, save the day. But then it turned into this thing that only you can save the world from Donald Trump. It's up to voters to stop Donald Trump. And I'm like, really? I mean, I got no problem if a celebrity wants to endorse an actor or wants to endorse a candidate. That's fine. It's fine for somebody to come and say, hey, I'm voting Hillary Clinton. Here's why. I hope you do too. Get out on November 8th. That's fine. No problem. It's a little, I don't know, it's kind of shilly, but whatever. You might have your political views and you want to endorse a candidate. That's great. We know that plenty of candidates, plenty of actors who endorsed Hillary were paid to do so. Plenty of YouTube celebrities were paid to endorse Hillary Clinton. But that's fine. That's your business to do that. But to go out and tell people who not to vote for, I think it's kind of vulgar. And here's the thing: it didn't work. It probably did a lot more to get people who were kind of on the fence to say, "Screw you, you liberal elite asshole, telling me who I should cast my vote for. You are so disconnected from anything that I go through, and here you are telling me who it is I should vote for." And vilifying somebody who, you know, I thought, you know, might be a good candidate, who I was thinking about voting for. Well, now you've done it. Now I'm going to vote for them because of your arrogance. So that didn't work. So they were the first line of attack on the evil dictator to be Emperor God Trump, or God Emperor Trump. And then they tried, you know, the second stringers, the B list. When Trump won, you get people like Moby and what was his name, James Cromwell, and who else was it? Oh, Martin Sheen, and Noah Wiley coming out to try and get the Electoral College. You know, just you and a few other conscientious Electoral College voters can stop Donald Trump. You have to do it. We don't want you to vote for Hillary. We don't say you have to vote for Hillary, but you have to stop Donald Trump. Did you not get it yet? They still don't get it. And then finally, we've got, I don't even know who these schmucks were. This was the C-listers saying, Congress, you know, don't confirm Donald Trump. Congress, please stop Donald Trump. Congress, don't confirm any of his appointments. Congress, it's up to you. We standing behind you. Of all the nonsense, like, and this is, the arrogance is that they think they know better than anybody else. They think they know better because they live in a $15 million mansion, and they've been rewarded for their ability to pretend. And they pretend so regularly, they're paid and rewarded for pretending, that they start to believe the stories that they act in. They start to believe the movies are real. And so they feel they have a better sense of what moral justice is and what morality is, because they act in you know, in a Victorian era movie, a movie set in the Victorian era in England. They think, oh, it was truly a terrible time. I know because I acted in the movie. Or they acted in a movie that was set during slavery era in the United States. I know that it was a truly terrible time, and because I acted in a movie. And I know that these attitudes are still rampant today, even though I never really see them because I live in a gated community and never encounter people who belong to the KKK, and have never heard anyone say a racist thing apart from, you know, my stupid uncle in Sioux City, Iowa. You know, this is the problem. I think they're and you know, people will come out and defend them, and people on social media were defending them. They don't live in a bubble. They all came from other parts of the country, and they know what people are like in those parts of the country. Well, they left those parts of the country because they had attitudes about those parts of the country. So, you know, you hear about, you know, the poor waitress from Kentucky who wants to become an actress, and she moves off to Hollywood and she makes it big. And part of the reason she probably wants to leave Kentucky is because, you know, one, she had no future there apart from being a waitress. Two, she saw and heard some pretty awful things by, you know, some of the locals, so she thinks this is all of Kentucky, this is everybody. But I think a lot of times, you know, they justify their decision by, you know, vilifying where they came from, by saying, oh, Kentucky's terrible, so I'm going to go out to Hollywood, where I know that they're more enlightened, because they act in movies, and they seem more enlightened on screen. So it becomes this never-ending cycle of pretense defining your reality. They pretend in movies about, and I mean, even if it's a historical drama, it's still a story. It's still embellished, folks. So, Meryl Streep, it's not real. Okay? It didn't actually happen the way it happened in the movie. A narrative was being told by a screenwriter, and you were responsible for acting out that narrative convincingly. You're not better than anybody else. You're not smarter than anybody else. You're not more moral than anybody else because you've been exposed to a screenwriter's story and acted in it convincingly and were lauded for your ability to do so. Okay? But you know what? You reward people for pretending. Would you get over? Jesus Christ, don't straddle the lane. If you reward people for pretending, they begin to think that pretending is noble. It's just a job, folks. You have a job. You're acting. And that's why the hashtag #ShutUpActor was trending for a little while. George Takei came out and was pontificating about something that Trump said or did, or one of Trump's appointments. And so for a little while, he was the target of a hashtag going, #ShutUpActor. Hashtag #ShutUpActor. So last night when I heard Meryl Streep was talking about him, okay, shut up, actor. Hey, Golden Globes, would you please tell Meryl Streep to shut up, actor? But anyway, it's just what they don't realize is that this attitude, this sense of arrogance, this arrogance that they're better and they know better than everybody else, is what lost them the election. Is what made Hillary lose. Her reliance on A-list actors, people who the rest of America, you know, like to go see in movies, but do not like being moralized to by, do not like being hearing, you know, hearing moralizing messages from. If you put those people up there, all you're doing is nailing the coffin in putting the nails in your own coffin. All you're doing is, oh crap, they're all in, there's no parking. Oh, there's one. All you're doing is emboldening people who already have a hate on for people like Sharon, Miley Cyrus, and Meryl Streep, and Lena Dunham. But anyway, yeah. So that's my thought. You know what? If Hollywood wants to elect another Democrat president, I don't know who you're gonna find. I really don't know who you're gonna pick, because I don't know that there's anybody out there that could really do it. If Hollywood wants to elect another Democrat, they got to stop acting the way they do. There was a time when it was considered vulgar and gross for people to use the Oscars, or people to use their platform, people in entertainment to use their platform to engage politically. That time's over. But maybe you should go back to shutting the fuck up about who you like. Maybe, you know, there's a reason why when you go to vote, it's hidden from everybody else. You're supposed to be able to vote with privacy. So maybe don't tell people who you're going to vote for. Maybe just say it's none of your goddamn business. And, you know, I respect actors who, when pressed by, you know, entertainment media, so who do you like in the upcoming election? I respect actors who say, that's none of your business. I'm not going to tell you. It's none of your business. Who I vote for is my business and my business alone. That's how it should be. I mean, part of the reason you're seeing so much, you know, drama and hair pulling out because of the results of the recent election is because people are too vocal about their political choices. Now, granted, this was an election that had some very over-the-top candidates. Trump. Hillary's also an over-the-top candidate, whether you want to believe it or not, she is, just based on the scandals associated with her. And that's why people felt the need to come out strongly for or against one candidate. But I think we should return to a time when people, you know, kept their political opinions about an election quiet to avoid any of the nonsense that occurs when there's, you know, any of the fallout that occurs when your candidate loses. It's polite to keep your political views to yourself in regular day-to-day interactions. It's polite to keep your political views to yourself when they don't have any relevance to a discussion. So if you're an actor and somebody's asking you about your new movie, and then the last question they ask, so who do you like in the election? That has nothing to do with your movie. So just, you know, keep it quiet. But that's my opinion. But anyway, I'm at work. I gotta go. Thanks very much for watching, and you can like and subscribe. And you can follow me on Twitter at CraigBragg. Currently, my name on Twitter is literally Putin. And I have a Facebook page, Craig Bragg's Jimmy Wrestling Politics page, if you want to check it out. Thanks again. Later.